Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're just jumping right into today's episode, and this is one really cool team. There is a Appletun as well as a Alolan Sandslash and Ninetales, which we used a while ago to varying degrees of success, but overall, I love seeing Appletun. It's not a Pokemon that we get to go up against very often at all, so that's really neat. So we're still using the Hydreigon team from yesterday's episode. Of course, this team was built by Eduardo Cunha, who was able to get number 1 on the ladder with it just a couple of days ago. You can learn more about the team and the original creator in the description below. Check out all of that good stuff, but let's get started for today's episode. I also want to briefly apologize because, yes, I did forget about the Thunder Wave onto Hydreigon not working yesterday because Hydreigon being dark and Prankster and everything, so apologies. I do make mistakes in terms of mechanics sometimes and forget about things, so question of the day, I want to know what mechanic you always forget about. Let me know in the comments below. How do we beat Hail here? I mean, Primarina's a start, but Zolt looks really tough. Like, the thing is, I guess Arcanine's pretty good for Intimidate, but then there's the Milotic. Wow, this is super interesting. Because I don't feel like I have, like, a very consistent lead option here. Dusclops? Primarina? Dusclops, Primarina... Ferrothorn, honestly, Dynamax Ferrothorn looks tempting here, but I could also just go Arcanine Hydreigon. I actually think bringing Ferrothorn over Hydreigon is probably the right call here, and then we try to Dynamax it. But I don't know, my opponent's team is one of those where it's just like, haven't really seen a composition like this before, so don't exactly know what to do against it, but should be fun. As always, if you enjoy Road Train, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it, and thanks as always for continuing to come out and support the series. It really does mean a lot. Dracozolt Ninetales. Okay, so if we went... No, I mean, Braviary or Hydreigon wouldn't have had the best time here. Like, I want to say this is okay, but it's still pretty scary. The play I'm leaning towards is just go Primarina out into... It's Expert Belt and Light Clay. Okay. I mean, so Screens is probably going to come up. I think Ninetales gets access to Taunt, right? I actually don't remember off the top of my head, which is a problem here. Because what I want to do is just hard switch the Primarina out into Arcanine and Trick Room. Okay, let's go for it. I think in this position I could see Dynamax Dracozolt and then maybe Max Lightning, like double up onto the Dusclops here, but don't want Primarina in. The Primarina was in, like, if my opponent leads Ninetales plus Sandslash, I can switch out one of my Pokemon into Arcanine, and then, yeah, stay in with the other. They just go for Aurora Veil. Dracozolt does not max either, so it might be just going for a Bolt Beak. Let's see. Yep. But we end up dodging it, which is very fortunate. I mean, that's the downside of using a blind Bolt Beak like that, right? Put yourself at risk. But I can get why my opponent went for that. You know, you get so much damage off. You also, it might be better to not Dynamax in a position like that. Ninetales is in a really awkward spot. I think it honestly probably switches out here. So I don't mind just going for Nightshade on a Dracozolt for chip. Question is, what do I think will switch in that's really a problem? There's not too much, honestly. So I'm actually just going to go Nightshade and Will-O-Wisp into Dracozolt. I guess there's a small chance Dracozolt protects here as Ninetales switches out. So Ninetales switches out. That was expected. And there's the Appletun. Okay. Well, that's cool. Let's see if Zolt protects. No, they commit to Dynamax. Okay. I guess what could be problematic for us here is... Yeah, I mean, you have Expert Belt, you have Max Quick, you probably just one-shot the Arcanine, so I don't get the Will-O-Wisp off. So it might have been better to have gone for a Protector with Arcanine, or even switch out to recycle that Intimidate for later on. Yeah. Yep, there's Max Quick. Okay, that was a really nice play. And it was, like, pretty telegraphed, too. Yeah, Arcanine doesn't survive from that. Like, Hustle is just so strong. So it actually would have been better if my opponent Dynamax turn 1. Part of the problem here is that they get the Appletun in, and it gets the Spadef boost now, too. So it's going to be really difficult to knock that out. Oh, I guess I can just haze the boosts away, though. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So maybe that's actually not that much of a problem. It's lefties as well, okay. So clearly my opponent's strategy is just to make Appletun as, like, bulky as possible, right? So I've got Primarina. I think we probably bring Primarina out here. And honestly, I'm leaning towards Nightshade Max Guard into Haze, Starfall into Dracozolt. I think that's okay. Yeah. Because we don't necessarily need the max turns on Primarina in terms of offense right now. Haze is actually going to be really important for us here, I think. But that's really cool. You set up the screens, and it's 8 turns, so it's kind of difficult to take care of. I don't have a way to hard deny the screens unless I know you're... Like, now, given how this... You know, like, given that I was able to scout out my opponent, what I could probably have done was maybe lead, like, Braviary, like, Primarina, for example. But leading Scarf Braviary into potential Sandslash seems really bad, which is why I didn't want to go for that. Okay, so we get Nightshade, a little bit more chip damage. There's Leech Seed. Okay, I'm wondering if it's double up here into Primarina. Nice. Okay, so that's good. Okay, the question here is, does Starfall KO after I haze the Dracozolt? I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe Nightshade is more consistent damage? I wouldn't think so, though. I'm really leaning towards the haze here. Yeah, I'm gonna haze Starfall, and if Dracozolt survives, I mean, most Dracozolts don't really run bulk, but given that there's a Ninetales with Aurora Veil on this team, maybe it does. Either way, this is one of the reasons why haze is, you know, just a really fantastic option. If we don't one-shot here, we're in a lot of trouble because Max Lightning is just gonna do so much damage to us in return. Okay, that gets the KO. Nice. And that is why haze is an underrated move in the metagame right now. So that's good. We still have one more turn of Dynamax left. Now, you know, the screens went up a couple turns ago, but Ninetales and Appletun are not putting up very much offensive pressure right now, which is good. So, yeah. And I have Hydreigon in the back. Obviously, Hydreigon will do really well into Appletun. I mean, I'm really curious on the Appletun set here, because it keeps going for Leech Seed. I'm wondering, like, if it had a defensive setup move, I would think maybe it would have gone for it already at this point, but, you know, Acid Armor, for example, is a potential attack, Iron Defense. So, yeah. But having a strong special attacker in the Primarina is really valuable for us right now. And the Ninetales isn't going to do any damage either, although I actually still have to knock out Ninetales because it will kind of wreck the Hydreigon in the back. So I have to keep that in mind, actually. But glad we at least had haste to just get rid of the special defense boost. Like I said, I could have maybe protected Arcanine, but I was thinking there, if my opponent, you know, doesn't target correctly, I could take advantage of it. But yeah, it was not a great play on my end. Ninetales just comes in, which is fine. Like, how many turns of Trick Room do we have left? Only one. So what do I think is going to be the last one then? Milotic, Arcanine? Like, why wouldn't you bring either of those out, right? I'm leaning towards just a Nightshade and a Max Geyser into Appletun. Or sorry, into Ninetales, because Appletun shouldn't be doing much damage to us right now. So if we clear the way of Ninetales, also by going for the Geyser here, I set up the rain, so if Sandslash is the last one, then it, you know, doesn't have those speed boosts, or doesn't get the speed boost under Hail. I guess Starfalling Appletun here is also very tempting though, but like I said, I think Ninetales is more of a problem given that we have Hydreigon in the back, so I'd rather just try to knock it out here. Okay, Appletun's just going to double Leech Seed us. And the thing is, if we don't knock out Appletun here, like, then it just heals back pretty much everything. Not everything, but a lot. Like, double Leech Seed plus lefties. Oh, that didn't KO. Wow. That could be a problem. I went for Blizzard and double connects, but okay. We have Pain Split, though, on the Dusclops, so I think it's okay. Like, here, I can go for... maybe... I was going to say maybe I should have Max Strike, but no, Primarina should still be slower even after the Max Strike against Ninetales, so I don't think that actually works. Well, unfortunate survival, but I guess it's fine. I think we definitely Hyper Voice here. Hyper Voice. Kind of want to Pain Split Appletun just to make sure Dusclops stays around for a little bit longer and that we're not in any risk of getting knocked out. Could hard switch out, but I don't want to risk switching in Hydreigon on a Ice type attack. There's still 3 turns of Aurora Veil, so it's slowly getting, you know... Yeah, that'll slowly be out of the way. I'm just going to Pain Split to be safe here in Hyper Voice. I think Ninetales might switch out here, but... Okay, it has Protect. So Protect, Aurora Veil, Blizzard. I don't know. I feel like if you had Freeze Dry, you would have gone for it already at this point. This Appletun's going to be a pain, but I've still got this Hydreigon in the late game. Iron Defense, but that doesn't actually matter at all because we're all special attackers at this point anyway. Yeah, so it did have Iron Defense, which isn't super surprising to see. I'm going to Pain Split, like I said, just to heal up with Dusclops. Appletun's pretty much going to heal back everything this turn, but that's honestly fine. I think this next turn we protect the Primarina, Nightshade into the Ninetales, just in case they have Freeze Dry. The only thing that doesn't cover is a Arcanine switch in, but I think that'd be fine. The battle's just going to go on for a while right now because Appletun's, you know, all the animations from Leech Seed and healing. But yeah, let's Nightshade here and protect. So we've seen Leech Seed, we've seen Iron Defense. I can obviously haze any boosts away, so that's like not actually that big of a concern. Ninetales stays in, which is good. That should be a knockout onto that side. They're just going for Blind Blizzard. Okay, well, the good thing is they can't freeze because terrain is up. I just didn't want to risk Primarina taking extra damage from a Freeze Dry there because we take pretty much no damage. And he's got Body Press. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So Iron Defense, Body Press, Leech Seed. Obviously very, very bulky Appletun. But I can just haze the defense boosts away. So I'm really curious what the last one is. If it's Arcanine, that would be really good to see. And the thing is, you know, anytime you play with the more, you know, like, bulky strategy like that Appletun, you have to consider the timer as well. Like, that's a potential way you could lose or win. It could actually work either way. But the thing is that Appletun, I don't think can actually really touch Dusclops other than Leech Seed damage. Because we've seen Leech Seed, Iron Defense, Body Press. I don't know if it has any other offensive attacks. Arcanine's the last one, which is what we want to see as well. That's perfect. Okay, so given that the last one is Arcanine, I think what we do here is... And given that Appletun's going for Body Press, I don't think it really has any other offense. Last turn of Misty Terrain. I've got Hydro Cannon, which should knock out through Aurora Veil, given that the rain is up. So I'm leaning towards just hazing, get rid of the defense boosts, and just Hydro Cannon into Arcanine. Arcanine might protect here, which is the only problem, so I could have... It doesn't protect. Okay, it goes for Snarl. I wonder if it survives then. Like, this is still Hydro Cannon we're talking about in rain. Base 150. So we're at -1 special attack and screens are up. We don't miss, which is good. Maybe I should have doubled up onto that slot then. I don't know. Okay, that's still a KO. That is why you want to run Hydro Cannon on Primarina. It's such a good attack. That's one of many reasons. Also, just so that when it Dynamaxes, it's just, you know, you actually have a water type attack to use. Okay. Now it's a 3v1, and we should win because I've got Hydreigon in the back, which is why it was actually really important to have Hydreigon in this matchup. So I think we're in good shape now. Obviously, Primarina should just faint this next turn. I can't really switch it out, but we could switch Dusclops out. But given, yeah, I mean, I think we just bring in the Hydreigon and just Draco Meteor at this point, so all I have to do is Pain Split. That does a ton of damage into... Like, the only way we could lose this is if we switched in the... And we haven't seen the Appletun's full moveset yet either. The only way we could lose this is if we switched in Hydreigon, my opponent predicts that, and, like, crits me for a knockout. So, that is not a risk I'm willing to take right now. Okay. Yeah. So, honestly, Appletun would have been a huge nuisance if I didn't have two ways to hit it. Like, and the Haze Dusclops was really nice for us here, too. But yeah, if I had Ferrothorn as the last one, I actually wouldn't be able to touch it at all. So, in the end, I'm actually glad I didn't bring Ferrothorn, because I was heavily considering that initially. Yeah. Because Ferrothorn looked kind of nice into the Hail matchup here. We did get lucky with that Volbeak miss turn 1, but I'm not sure it really made too much of a difference because I don't think that one-shots us, and then we got one shot the next turn anyway. But, I don't know, this Appletun's really interesting. I haven't really seen Appletun very much, and it makes a lot of sense to run it with Aurora Veil, you know, Light Clay Ninetales. The only problem you can see is that Ninetales and Appletun pretty much put on no offensive pressure, so you're really relying on the other two Pokemon, and given that my opponent brought out the Arcanine in this matchup as well, that's not doing much damage either, so, yeah. I'm just going to go Nightshade, Draco Meteor here. I'm thinking Draco with Life Orb gets the one-hit KO, but maybe I'm wrong. As long as we don't miss. Okay, very nice. This is why Hydreigon is just really nice, right? I mean, it's a really, really strong special attacker, and if you can either use it early game or late game. If you use it early game, you get large amounts of damage off its potential Dynamax threat, get those special defense drops, and if you wait for the late game, you can do stuff like this. So what was really big for us here was basically attacking through all of the bulk, right? My opponent had a Roarveil, and they had really bulky Pokemon in, Appletun, Arcanine with Snarl as well. But because we, Hydro Cannon on Primarina plus Life Orb, Hydreigon, those are just two really, really strong special attackers. So we were able to really break through that that defense. But really cool team from the opposing end. I think I probably played Appletun just a couple times throughout the season. That set is, I would say, relatively standard, but it's still really scary to go up against. So yeah. Okay, there's no Talonflame, which is normally what I expect on these Porygon-Z Clef teams. So that means maybe we can get away with leading Braviary. I have to watch out for Grimmsnarl though. And let's not forget, after yesterday's episode, Grimmsnarl cannot use Prio on my Hydreigon, which is a good thing. However, I don't know if Hydreigon's really the best Pokemon to bring into this matchup. There is a Clef, which actually was pretty much why we lost, or almost lost that third game yesterday. I led Hydreigon into Clefairy, which was a really bad decision on my end. Wow, this is tricky. Because I think we have to Dynamax the Primarina. Dynamax Primarina looks really good, right? It has really good coverage. Just that I want to bring Dusclops, but to do what? Set up Trick Room? Is that really going to be easy to accomplish? There might be After You on the Clef as well. So I'm leaning towards a Braviary Primarina lead with Arcanine and Ferrothorn in the back. Does that make sense? I don't know. Hydreigon outspeeding Urshifu by 1 speed point is valuable, though. Maybe we should bring Hydreigon, because it still does a lot of damage, especially if we KO the Clef. And for the last one, I don't know, Arcanine's actually not that great here. Ferrothorn does give us a max strike switch in. Although Dusclops would have given us an immune to that, so maybe that would have been the call. I like my opponent's team here, because it's a mix of really hyper offense stuff, but then you also have a lot of decent bulk coming out as well. Grimmsnarl can set up screens, Clef can obviously have Friend Guard and redirect attacks away, so yeah. Let's see. Duraludon and Arcanine, okay. Well, Braviary eats up this drop, which turns into a boost. So that's good. This is really interesting, because I could Dynamax the Braviary. I could. They might just Will-O-Wisp us, though. If they Will-O-Wisp us, I could just go Brave Bird just to knock out Arcanine, Max Starfall, Duraludon. It's kind of tempting. The alternative would be to try to set up Tailwind on turn 1. They might Fake Out into Braviary here as well. Oh, wait, what am I saying? Fake Out. They don't have Fake Out. Wait, yeah, because they don't have Fake Out, isn't the play to just Brave Bird? I want a Tailwind really badly, though. I could see Arcanine protecting. Okay. I am going to go for Tailwind. And I'm not going to Dynamax turn 1, because I might want to Dynamax Braviary turn 2 if it survives this turn. Maybe you should have just Brave Birded. I don't know. I feel for how good of a start... we also could have close combated Max Starfall into Duraludon, which in retrospect might have been the play here. Either way, though, I don't think Duraludon makes it past 1 turn of Dynamax. So no protects, no switches. Let's see if Arcanine Will-O-Wisps or Snarls. It's a ton of damage from Moonblast. Ah, it's weakness policy. Okay. I actually maybe should have seen that coming. So if I actually just went Brave Bird into Arcanine, Max Starfall, turn 1, we'd be in pretty good shape. But this is honestly fine. This is also why I didn't want to Dynamax either Pokemon yet. Because if we Dynamax something and Duraludon targets correctly and we just faint, that's really bad news for us. So Braviary goes down, but that's totally fine by me. Because now you just give me the free switch into Hydreigon. Right? And so with Hydreigon out, I can just go for a Life Orb Earth Power into the Duraludon. And then Dynamax Primarina, Geyser into Arcanine. I think that should work. That's also why it's really important that we have the Choice Scarf once again, because if we're not Scarfed, Arcanine goes first and gets that drop off immediately. Although I guess the Braviary would still Tailwind the subsequent turn anyway, right? Well, since it didn't get targeted, I'd still get Tailwind up. Oh, no, because Duraludon would then outspeed the Braviary, I think. Although this Braviary is max speed. Either way, I mean, Earth Power should pick up the knockout, right? I'm just double. Dark Pulse is 120. Yeah, Earth Power is 180. We don't want a Draco here. Draco can miss, too. I'm pretty sure Earth Power should KO, so I think just Earth Power, Dynamax, and Geyser here is fine. If Arcanine switches out into Clef, then the Clef eats up the Geyser. It doesn't switch out here, so that's really good news for us. I think this should be a double KO. I could see Duraludon protecting. Arcanine maybe going for any attack just to sacrifice itself, so then you get the free switching into Clefairy, which would make a lot of sense. That would actually be pretty bad news for us, I think. That'd be very bad news, now that I think about it. Oh, but they don't protect. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I feel like if you have Clefairy here in the back, your play is to sacrifice the Arcanine and protect Duraludon so that you have redirection support, so that I trade two attacks basically for the Duraludon here. So we'll see. Maybe they didn't have Clef in the back, because if not, then that makes total sense. But once again, base 150 Max Geyser coming off Hydro Cannon was so strong. So one thing that's really cool about this team is that like Braviary and Hydreigon don't even need a Dynamax a lot, but the team like definitely utilizes them a lot, which I really enjoy, right? Like it's just cool how many flexible options you have with them. So yeah. Okay, we're in good shape now, obviously. We've got Tailwind up. They don't have Dynamax. They have PZ in the back, which is interesting. Geyser should just one-shot that in the rain. And Grimmsnarl was the last one. Okay, so they didn't have any switch-ins there, which makes sense. Okay. I mean, what's Grimmsnarl going to do against what we have in the back? Grimmsnarl doesn't even put on any offensive pressure. Let's not forget, it can't Thunder Wave our Hydreigon. Don't worry, guys. I've not forgotten this time around. So I'm just going to Draco Meteor into the Porygon and go for a Geyser onto it. Yeah, like this game should be over after knocking out Duraludon, honestly. Right, they go for Fake Tears, but that's not going to do enough because we have the Tailwind support. That's why I was like, do I Tailwind? Do I attack turn 1? Like, I think Tailwind's always better for this team. And if Braviary did survive the turn, we could Dynamax Braviary turn 2. Yeah, we just one-shot Porygon there. Nice. Okay, solid. But yeah, Arcanine Duraludon, you should immediately think Bulldoze Weakness Policy if you see that lead, so I don't know why I didn't think about that a little bit more when I saw it immediately. I was also expecting the Grimmsnarl so much, and I was like, oh, Fake Out definitely has to come out here, right? But obviously my opponent couldn't even Fake Out. You can see the strength of Max Geyser boosted by the Sea Incense and the Rain. They're able to just get the one-hit KO onto Grimmsnarl, so nice. Once again, Hydreigon, we end up bringing, we don't Dynamax it, but it provides a ton of value just by offering us this really, really powerful attack with these Draco Meteors, because Max Whirlwind is only, marginally stronger than Draco Meteor, base 140 versus 130. So, yeah. I probably should have checked the team to see if Duraludon had Protect, but given that Clefairy was not in the back for my opponent, I actually think they didn't have too many options as soon as turn 1 plays out the way it does. So, yeah. And I don't know if +2 Max Lightning knocks out Primarina, but if it does, like, that's why I wanted to go for a Moonblast as opposed to Starfall. Yeah, because in that position, Arcanine's never picking up a knockout onto either slot, whereas Duraludon might, so didn't want to take that risk. And it basically allows us to stagger our Dynamax and give us one extra turn, which worked out pretty well for us. Really high-ranked opponent for our third game today, ranked 38. We've got a Trick Room team. Okay. Gigalith. I mean, this is so similar to that match we played yesterday, right? Where they led Urshifu and Dusclops. And what did I want to do yesterday? I wanted to just lead Hydreigon Primarina for Max Darkness into Geyser. Or sorry, Hyper Voice. I actually think that's still fine here. That looks really good here, actually. So Hydreigon, Primarina, Ferrothorn, and for the last one, my own Dusclops might be valuable here. Arcanine does give us a Safety Goggles user, but I don't know if Intimidate's that valuable. Yeah, I actually really like having Dusclops here. I mean, they're a Trick Room team. We can use Trick Room, but we can also reverse their Trick Room with Dusclops. So, yeah. Scary team, though, I think, for sure. But if you lead, like, there's no fake-out pressure on that team either. Last time, I think, when we went up against the similar team comp yesterday, there was a Grimmsnarl. That's what I was worried about yesterday. But today, there's no fake-out. There's only Amoonguss. So I guess if you lead Amoonguss, Dusclops, or Amoonguss Hatterene... actually, Amoonguss Hatterene would be pretty bad for our lead. But I guess I could just hard switch out into Ferrothorn. But the thing is that I would feel forced to Dynamax Primarina just to Starfall, which doesn't feel great. And the reason I'd feel forced for that is because I need to get the terrain up. Although I guess if you Dynamax the Hatterene, you could just get rid of the terrain with Psychic, Max Psychic, and then Spore. Yeah, Amoonguss Hat would be a really bad lead here. And that's why I led Ferrothorn in yesterday's episode. So if they go for it here, props to them. Okay, it's Urshifu Hat. I'd rather see that, I guess. I mean, I think we're actually safe to just Max Darkness Hyper Voice here. It's fighting Urshifu. Oh, sorry, Water Urshifu. Yeah, I do think Max Darkness Hyper Voice is the play here. Because here's what happens. Hyper Voice breaks a potential Focus Sash on the Urshifu. It's not going to do very much damage, but it breaks a potential Sash. The double up will just KO Hatterene here. I guess Hatterene could G-Max, though. And if Hatterene G-Maxes, I don't think Max Darkness into Hyper Voice KOs, which could be a problem for us here. Urshifu shouldn't be able to get the one-hit KO onto either of our Pokemon. And so, if Hatterene, like if neither Pokemon Dynamax turn 1 and I get the Max Darkness Hyper Voice off, we KO Hatterene, we break a potential Sash, I can just Wormwind into the Urshifu slot this next turn. Because as we saw, obviously, yesterday, we outspeed. Urshifu switches out, though. Into Amoonguss, maybe? That would make the most sense. Into Arcanine. What? I mean, we take those. Hatterene might Dynamax, though. Yeah, I mean, that's still the problem. If Hatterene maxes, then I think it's still an okay turn, though, because we get so much damage off. We get the Spadef drop. After the Spadef drop, I'm fairly confident we just one-shot the Arcanine. And if Hatterene doesn't max here, I think that's honestly just like GG on turn 1, but let's see. They could protect the Hatterene as well, but then you would just be giving up Arcanine for pretty much nothing, and I think that's a favorable trade for us as well. They go for the max. Okay, yeah, good play. So I probably lose Hydreigon here, unfortunately. I still think, like, I don't regret that play. Could I have just gone for Dark Pulse Hyper Voice, though? I mean, maybe this double up also KOs. Like, maybe I'm underestimating the strength of our two Pokemon right now. A Max Guard would actually be a really good play here. But they don't Max Guard. Okay. Oh, we got Max Darkness off. Yeah, it's one bulky Hatterene. Okay. So we're probably going to get G-Max Smited, which is bad. I could have Hydro Cannon there, which would have been a really sick read. But I don't think Hyper Voice KOs here. Yeah, Arcanine's gone, though. And look how much damage we still do in a Hatterene, right? Like, that's in KO range from pretty much any other attack at this point, so. Yeah, it's bulky with Citrus. I have not seen Citrus Hatterene or Wiki in a minute. Okay. And they smite into Hydreigon. Nice play. If I Hydro Cannon there, like, I think we're golden, because then it's like Hydreigon just sweeps through everything, and Hydreigon is so good against my opponent's team here, so maybe I should have just risked it for the biscuit there in Hydro Cannon. But if Hat just protects there, it's actually probably still fine. Okay. I guess we go Dusclops. Hydro Cannon will just knock out Hatterene in the range it's at right now. We know my opponent is Urshifu. I'll beat Urshifu with Ferrothorn under Trick Room. So, like, what I could go for here is Hydro Cannon to Hatterene and Trick Room. Especially if Urshifu comes back out. Comes back out. Oh, it's banded. I don't think that's a problem, though. I think we just Trick Room. Yeah, and Hydro Cannon here. That explains the switch out, too. But the scary thing here is attacking through Confusion and potentially missing Hydro Cannon. The odds are in our favor, but, you know, the odds of us potentially missing or getting confused is also up there. So, let's see. If we hit the Hydro Cannon, Hatterene's gone. Banded Urshifu shouldn't be able to one-shot us. I don't think Surging Strikes one-shots us. And we know he's locked into Surging Strikes now, so Ferrothorn should clean up if we knock out the Hat. Oh, they actually target Primarina. Okay. That's fine by me. Okay, if Primarina attacks through, we should have this one, but let's see. It's got to attack through Confusion and hit a Hydro Cannon. Nice. I honestly was not expecting that. I did just set up Trick Room, though, so if my opponent has, like, Gigalith in the back, that might be a problem. Gigalith would actually be pretty bad to see here, wouldn't it? Was it the correct play to set up Trick Room? I still think yes. Because if Primarina doesn't get that off, at least I get Ferrothorn in for free. It is Gigalith, though, and it's definitely going to have weakness policy. So, This is not over by any means. I think we just Nightshade, though, into the Gigalith. Because Power Whip should just knock out the Urshifu. I have to sack the Primarina. If I'm my opponent, actually, here I'm doubling up onto the Dusclops. Yeah. I haven't seen Wikiberry Hatterene pretty much ever. I think, like, Sash, Life Orb, and one of the Type Resist berries, like Braviary, are obviously super common. So that's interesting to see. Good damage with Nightshade. They just Rock Slide. That's fine. Okay. And Surging Strikes. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, does Bandit Strikes KO us here? No way, right? Yeah, I don't think it does. Okay. Yeah, then we should be good here. My only fear is missing a potential Power Whip now with Ferrothorn. Let's see. Primarina. Does it go down here? Oh my goodness. It doesn't go down. Wait, that's really bad. It's okay, wait. Yeah, because... Yeah, we just got into Ferrothorn here, right? Hung on with 1 HP. The reason we got into Ferrothorn here is because I just tank up the Surging Strikes into Rock Slide. And then I, bring out Dusclops to Nightshade... Or sorry, a Pain Split later on. Whereas if I Pain Split this turn, I don't know if I heal back enough where I survive both attacks. Plus, I get some Iron Barb's chip onto the... Urshifu as well, but yeah, Primarina hanging on there actually hurts. They actually go for Iron Head, which is fine. It's a good play. You don't want to risk missing there, so makes sense. This is where I wish I was Iron Defense, Leech Seed, Body Press. But yeah, Pharaoh takes that like a champ. And we get each chip of Iron Barbs here too, which is very nice. So, given that we have Pharaoh in the back, I still have to respect the option of potential Superpower on that Gigalith. Because Superpower is normally your best last option. Okay. The good thing here is, once again, we know the Urshifu is banded, so we can obviously just guarantee KO onto that slot, as long as we don't miss. Let's bring Dusclops back out. We can also just confirm the weakness policy here. I mean, like, there's no way the Gigalith doesn't have weakness policy, right? Like, that'd be shocking to me. Yep. Okay. Let's just confirm. There are 2 turns of Trick Room left. Just want to double check that we outspeed with both under Trick Room. Yeah. So given that, my only fear is missing. Is there any way I can play around the miss? I'd have to double up onto Urshifu. I mean, I'm definitely Power Whipping here. It's just, if we miss, we might actually lose. But I don't think there's a way around it. If they have Superpower, maybe. No, but then they can Protect. Because I have to Pain Split here. Into Gigalith. So if we hit the Power Whip, we should win this game. But if we miss, we actually probably lose. But it looks like we can... Okay. Pretty lucky today that we were able to hit all our attacks. It's always scary to use these like relatively low accuracy attacks. Let's see. And they just Rock Slide. And Dusclops dodges it to add insult to injury. Yeah, we definitely had our fair share of luck today. The thing is, I don't think that makes too much of a difference because I could actually just self-Pain Split the next turn to heal up a little bit more, and then it's a 2v1. But this game actually still isn't over. Like, Gigalith could still pull it off as well, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I can just knock off Nightshade here. I think Gigalith probably protects here, actually. Knockoff into self-Pain Split covers all our options. If they protect, we just heal back more with Dusclops, and they just end up forfeiting. Okay. We got pretty lucky today. I don't know if any of that RNG was like absolutely necessary. I think if Primarina does not get that Hydro Cannon off, I do get the Ferrothorn in, and I can just Gyro Ball, I guess, so it's not necessarily over. That's why I wanted to prioritize like getting up Trick Room, because we were going up against that Urshifu, and we knew it was banded, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one was, like, they didn't have much against Hydreigon, so they had to commit the max onto Hatterene just to deal with Hydreigon, and that means, like, Gigalith isn't as much of a threat. I thought the Pokemon choices there were really interesting. No Dusclops came out, but that's because, obviously, we had the Hydreigon, and they were worried about the Hydreigon, which makes a ton of sense. So, yeah. Trying to think what else we could have really done better. Like I said, Hydro Cannon turn 1 into Hatterene would have been a really sick play. And I guess it actually works out. Unless like, you think the Hatterene's going to switch out there. But is Hat really going to switch out? Maybe. If Hat switches out into something like Dusclops and then we're immobile with Primarina the subsequent turn, that looks kind of bad. So, I don't know if I... Yeah, I feel like I don't regret it, but the fear around playing with G-Max Midas, you're just basically rolling a bunch of dice and seeing if you're going to attack through the confusion. So, while the odds were in our favor, we still had to, you know, get lucky enough that we don't get a poor, you know, RNG roll there. So, yeah. Fun set of games today for sure, though. You know, once again, just highlights the value of how good Primarina is, especially in a non-Rillaboom format. And then the Hydreigon Braviary also really carried us in some of those matches as well. So, thanks as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all soon. All right, peace.